What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the True Bud Show podcast, episode number 111. 111, man. It feels good to be back. It's been about 6 months since I've talked to you and, been doing podcasts. So I just wanted to let you know they'll be consistent again, dropping every Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. PST, man. So tune in, see what's good. This episode is going to be fun. I'm gonna let you know what I've been doing. I didn't just fall off the face of the earth. I've been working on a lot, man. Especially, I can't wait to share this to after we talk about the hemp game versus the cannabis game because I started working in the hemp industry. I'm really excited to share this with you. This project right here. It's been about 15 years of thinking and about 3 years of like hard prototyping, manufacturing. The R&D process has been really interesting. It gave me a lot more respect for people just putting out products. So we'll get to that. Super excited to share it with you guys. And as always, we'll be doing giveaways on the other channel. So I just wanted to start this one off talking about cannabis versus the hemp industry. I like sharing my experiences with you guys. I've done some videos about, working in the cannabis space that have done pretty well on here or how to break into the industry. So those have, garnished some attention and, curiosity from people. So I figured today I would tell you about the hemp industry, my perspective on it, what I've learned, the differences. And I would say just off the rip, the biggest difference, which seems kind of obvious, is the regulations, man. Right now, I'm not sure if you've heard. If you haven't, go look it up. THCA flower is popping. All these hemp brands are selling it. Now you have cannabis companies getting into it. Cookie sells THCA flower that you can have delivered to your door. The companies I work for do the same thing. And what blew my mind about this is it's just basically bud, man. It's just flower. It's just different strains. And sure, people can do lab testing, lab shopping. They can mess with the results a little bit, but essentially they're finding the strains that are below that 0.03% threshold and are high in THCA. And if you're not familiar with THCA, this is your first time hearing about it. THCA is the precursor to THC. So that's why if you have a bud, if you ate the raw bud, it's not going to do anything to you. So when you heat it, you add a lighter to it in a J or a bowl, or even when you're making edibles, it's called decarboxylation when you put it in the oven to activate those cannabinoids. Sure, there's hundreds of other cannabinoids, but THCA is the primary one people are focused on in order to convert to THC. I hope that's not too geeky and scientific for you, but it's just super interesting to see what's going on in the game right now. So of course, the cannabis industry's up in arms, especially these big boys. Like I'll use Florida, for example. That's one of the states I call on. You got your True Leaves there. You got this big lobbying parties that are willing to kick this hemp out, and they're trying to pass bills right now. And I get it too, man. Like, if you spent millions of dollars to build up your retail store, your delivery, or whatever it may be in a recreational or medicinal market, and then all of a sudden you have these smoke shops who just need a seller's permit basically to sell basically the same quality flower. It's pretty mind blowing and insane. I'm like still, I'm pretty used to it now because I've been slinging a lot of this shit, but it's just so interesting to see the dynamic, right? And my opinion personally, that I've told to the past couple companies I've worked with as well, is we should be tackling both. We should have the cannabis line and then we should also have a hemp line. And that's also, there's several reasons for that, in my opinion, of when I was talking about it. Is number one, you get access to all the other states, especially, just wherever you are. Let's say California, you get access to every other state now. There's some states that are more hardcore, of course, but not only do you get that, but you get the brand exposure. So let's say things do come down the line, which is eventually going to happen. Things are going to be legalized. You already have that brand exposure. You have that brand presence within all these other states. So it makes it an easier expansion. I think the real players in the game who are smart are the ones who are also focused on getting in the hemp game. And that's also kind of the like sad thing too, to me, man. Fortunately, the company I work for is we sell premium shit, right? But there's a lot of dirt bags in the hemp game. There's a lot of, smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of people just mislabeling shit, or just outright lying on their packaging, and it's absurd. And the product testing side of it, and there's not even really a compliance side besides being under the 0.03% threshold for THC. Um, it's just kind of mind blowing to see the lack of regulation, which is fine. I'm not saying overregulate, but I'm just saying this to you as a consumer. Maybe if you're out there in these shops and you're seeing this shit, just be careful, man. Like, even the buds, go watch some of my other stuff talking about PGRs and a lot of the ways certain things are grown, it's a little sketchy out there, but at the same time, you know, and if you're in a state where it's not legal, it's still really nice products you can get out there. Just be careful what you're, buying or consuming yourself. I'm really conscious of it, especially after working for Autumn Brands, who does spray-free cannabis. Excuse me. Now, so we're talking THCA is interesting, and the pop off of that has been happening for a while. But what's the most mind blowing to me is that it could have been happening since 2018. It's like more of in the past year, maybe 8 months, 9 months or so, that it's really been taking off and is continuing to take off. But if somebody had the foresight back in 2018 when the Farm Bill passed and people were selling D8 and D9, HHC, and all this other shit, there was this loophole built in. So it's just so interesting to find these loopholes, and that's what I love. And if you've watched my stuff or listened to my stuff, that's what I love too about the cannabis space. It forces creativity where otherwise there wouldn't be any, right? If these companies could run their typical ads online, which they can't because these platforms don't allow them to, Instagram, Facebook, I think Twitch allowed and they cut back on it. But it forces a certain creativity that when things do become like completely legal and legit and you can run ads, in my opinion, the cannabis industry is going to be ahead of everybody because they've been forced in a corner and forced to be creative. So that's my like optimistic outlook on that. Also, what else is popping in the hemp game? D9, of course. Delta 9 is, the psychoactive component that gets you stoned. D8 still, prevalent a little bit. HHC, I don't sell much of. Amanita, that's an interesting category. Amanita's been picking up. I sell like Amanita gummies with cannabinoids. I also sell the raw Amanita caps. And it's super interesting to see how that's going. Some people love it, some people don't like it. And then like if you're in these, especially in California, going to these smoke shops in California, dude, I've most of them have psilocybin mushrooms or like chocolates. I've even seen like spray DMT and acid that these people are selling. It's freaking absurd, man. The smoke shop game, I guess, to its credit, has just always been that person pushing this other shit like salvia back in the day or K2 and all this shit. I'm just a big fan of finding the quality, find what works for you, and just be careful what you're consuming, man. Especially when it comes to smokable goods like vapes. You don't really know what's in that oil sometimes. And that brings me back to what I was saying earlier of companies just outright being manipulative or lying on their packaging. Like I'll make phone calls when I'm cold calling these shops and be like, oh, they're like, oh, I have a pure THCA vape. I'm like, bro, you definitely don't. Like, go look at the COA. What does it say on there? There's probably a lot of CBD or D8. The ones we sell or I sell are cut with D8. But there's all this kind of misinformation floating around out there. And I feel like I'm being negative on the hemp space when I think it's also a really cool thing. Because at the end of the day, what I think about is everybody should have access to cannabis, really. And hemp is kind of that loophole for people to get there, right? So, and I guess I should say, why do I think that? Why do I say it? Is because, man, it's just a plant that can grow out. Like, you can go look at these old facts, dude. It used to be a mandatory, like, thing in America that everybody used to have to grow hemp. George Washington grew hemp, man. Like, the game has changed, and recently I'm seeing, like, Camila Harris talking about, "Oh, it's way like, I can't believe, cannabis is considered more intense than, like, fentanyl." It's like, yeah, do something about it, right? So that's kinda my freaking rant on the hemp game versus cannabis game. I guess I should say, where do I see it going? And that's an interesting thing again about both spaces, right? Is eventually somebody's gonna crack down on THCA or they're right? Like, so it's in the farm bill, I think in September is up for like a new draft. So I bet that'll be tackled there. One of my coworkers, really good, really cool dude, really knowledgeable, is saying that he truly thinks that cannabis is going to be legalized through the hemp side, which I can see it kind of already is with this THCA stuff. But it's just pretty interesting, man. Go online, check out some of this stuff, or even go get some THCA flower and check it out. And I might as well just, let you know the two brands that I'm selling for right now are Exhale Wellness and Bud Pop. Go check out the websites. Do a lot of ecom business. I'm on a wholesale side of it. But Hollyweed, man, Hollyweed has a story. I don't know if you heard back in 2017 when on New Year's Eve, when a Hollywood sign was changed to Hollyweed, that was the co-founder of the company, Z, aka Jesus Hands. Super cool artist. Him and his wife are really nice people, man, down to earth, and really create some super cool stuff. And Hollyweed is about to launch with some really fire products, gummies, vapes, THCA flower, and concentrate. So I'm really excited to share that with the world more. And it just feels nice, man. I've always known that story is everything when it comes to selling anything, and it has that built-in story. I'll say the line I just said to you right now to people on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I do remember that." And it just creates that openness. It creates that memorable thing for people to be like, "Oh, shit. Dude, this dude Jack called me from fucking Hollywood, California, Hollyweed, and do you remember when that sign changed, man?" People get excited. Like, when we were at MJ BizCon, people were losing their minds on the merch, everything, the whole story, so I just figured I'd mention that. And now let's hop into what I've been working on low key for a long time. That's why you haven't seen as much content from me. That's why I've kind of just keeping this close to my chest, man. I'm usually share everything I do, right? You guys know if you watch my stuff, I'm like an open book. But for this project, for the past years, I haven't told anybody except my family because it's a family owned business. So the Mason pot, man, the only and best craft infuser you will ever need in the game. I elevated an already OG tried and true method. I love the Mason jar. So dude, this has been, like I'm saying, like a decade of work. Ever since my first Mason jar infusion, I've been thinking of ways to make it better. Ultimate craft infuser coming to you. Go on my website, masonpot.com, and pick one up today. Use code TrueBudsTV for a 10% discount. And you might be saying, what's in that box, dude? What's in that old school 10 box? Well, I'll show you. Let's pop it open. We have two different variations. We got the blacked out version. Then we have the white and baby blue. So however you're feeling, let's crack this one open and see what we got inside. So this is a magnet, first of all, too. You can take it off, throw it on. I have a fun game, too, you can play. I develop with the fam. Family owned is a big part of this, too. I've worked with my brother Reed to make these pieces. My sisters, we've done some content. I've done brainstorming with all the other siblings. One of them's an angel investor as well. So that's what was able to get this project off the ground. I'm just so excited to share it with you guys. So let's pop it open. Here's the box. Firstly, right here is the QR code. You scan this, it's going to pull up all the content you'll ever need to make the best infusions. And that's what, like, the beautiful thing about this too is you follow the instructional video on your first batch, guaranteed to have the best batch you ever made. That's how hard I'm willing to go. That's what I believe, and that's what I know is going to happen for you. I feel like I'm on a fucking OxyClean commercial right now pitching this. So we got the microfiber cloth. This was actually a later addition. I was doing a lot of infusing. I was using old towels, like these white kitchen towels, leaving like olive oil or infused coconut oil stains on them. You don't need to worry about that anymore with this Mason pot cloth, dude. Microfiber, clean, gets everything you need all in one cloth, so you don't have to worry about messing anything else up in your kitchen. Everything on this product has been super thought through. So then here's what else we got. Take out the two lids. So this lid's for storage after infusion's done. This one here has a silicone hole in there. Silicone, am I saying it right? I'm looking at you through this camera. It's kind of crazy. So what this is, this thermometer piece, I'll try to show you here, inserts perfectly through here. And I'll show you exactly what that means here in a second. So you can get the perfect temperature every time you're decarbing or infusing. Now let's take out this part here. This is the Mason pot jar. It has a window in the back. This is super crucial, especially if you're doing concentrates, to keep kind of an eye on it when they bubble and whatnot. Also just good to see when you're doing flour and making whatever you want to make. Let's take this off. This is what I was saying here. This lid goes right here, screws on, and that is how you get an accurate temperature reading every time because it's inserted through here. You're getting what's actually in the jar. In an instructional video, I'll show you how to dial in your oven, set it right. And this is also good just to know when you're cooking other shit besides making infusions. It can also be used on a stovetop, like in a pot, like a double broiler method. It can also be used in a crock pot. This is literally the most versatile infuser in the game. There's also a large batch hack. You could have several of these, making several different strains, butter, coconut oil, olive oil infusions at the same time, saving time for you in the long run. And I'm just geeking out on this, man. You guys can tell I really love this thing. Then we have the fine strainer at the end. It's blown my mind that, like, again, no hate on any of these other companies, but blows my mind that a lot of these other companies haven't figured out a fine strain method at the end. This will give you the perfect fine strain every time because I know you like the finer things, right? You know what I'm saying? And I should mention the price point on this. It's coming in at a nice $99.99, man. Come on. And you get that 10% discount. You get $90. You got this all-in-one infuser. Then I'll save my favorite for last. Then here's the other digital piece to the thermometer. Little Mason pot right there. Here's my favorite thing. This is what we've spent the most time on, I would say. Yeah, probably. Because we've done so many different ones, man. We've gone to bed so many times from a late night, me and my brother Reed, like, oh, we thought we had the perfect press, then we fix it, or maybe there's some oil seepage could get in here. We had this one that was so dialed in. And then we said, let's simplify, man. This is going to change the game. This is going to change how you look at infusions, man. The Mason pot puck right here. So you simply, it's wrapped up, but I won't unwrap it right now. Actually, screw it. Let's pop it open. So I'm just going to unwrap it. When your infusion's done, so pretend you had like a half ounce, whatever the amount is. And that's a beautiful thing. There's no, a lot of these other products out there have like minimums. There's no minimum in here. You could do a gram. So say you had a half ounce of some oil in here, drop this in, and then you press it down. You get every last drop of that liquid gold, pour it into your other pot, and you're good to go, man. That's the basic breakdown of the Mason pot, but super versatile. Again, man, this is a passion project of mine. This has been literally over a decade of thinking, and it just feels good to hold it in my hand right now and look at it. And I guess I should show you the other version as well, depending like what kind of colors you like. So here's a blacked out version. Same thing. Bada bing, bada boom. Everything I just showed you, just different colors, man. I'm curious to see which one does better. You know, we kind of hitting different targets, different demographics on this. But again, my biggest thing that I was saying earlier too is I think everybody should have access to be able to make their own infusions. And that's where I'm so excited to make some of this content, dude, because a lot of these people, myself included, back, 7 years ago, before I really dove into like the recreational game and edibles and really took a deep dive into infusions, I still didn't know, like, people go to the dispensary right now and spend $20 to $30 on a 100 milligram edible that has distillate in it. And that just blows my mind, dude. Like, you can make your own infusion. You could buy this kit for $90 if you use my code TrueBudsTV, you get the discount. Buy this, get an ounce of shake, buy an ounce of some fresh flower. If you grow your own, even better. You can make, for the same price, you can make like the equivalent of buying 5 packs of gummies. You could make for way cheaper. This is the best money saver. Not only that, you have full control. You know what you're doing. You know what you're putting in. You know the inputs. Where these gummies are just some extruded bullshit with the bottom of the barrel and with distillate, man. And I'm not going to hate on distillate, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, a tried and true method that works. It's the distilled THC that gets you high. But at the end of the day, it's not the entourage effect. I used to sell a live resin product, Purewana, which was a live resin powder. And sometimes when I was talking to buyers, I would make the analogy of like the pink slime, like hot dog or McDonald's burger. That's what distillate is to me. And that's what a lot of people are consuming unknowingly. And that's my goal with this, especially when you buy this, you're going to have consistent content helping you learning. And not only are you going to make good infusions, but you're going to learn why you're doing it. Like, oh shit, what are terpenes, bro? What are cannabinoids? What's the effect I like? What's this entourage effect people are talking about? I'm just kind of tired too of seeing just shitty products schlepped on people, dude, in the industry. So the Mason pot is here to change the game, here to change the infuser world and bring the best infuser at the best price point that will hit right every time. And also, there's so many cool things you can do with this jar. I just use this jar as like a drinking glass around the house. You can do all-in-one recipes in here. I've already shot several of those. I haven't edited them yet, but we'll share those. You can also just use it as, my little brother loves doing coffee in here. There's so many things. Every piece here, and again, that's the beauty of this. Every piece is versatile. You can use it for your own stuff. You could use this thermometer for other things. You could use the jar for other infusions. You could do simple syrup in there, which I'm really excited to share that recipe. You could use this press for, get creative, share it with me. I'm curious to hear. So there's literally endless options with this. And I don't mean to be too salesy pitching it right now. I'm just super excited to share it with you guys. To be real, it's been under wraps. I've been working hard on it. And I'm like, I miss making videos and making podcasts, but sometimes you just have to take that time to take the time, and focus in on what you want to achieve, put those blinders on. And that's what I've done with Mason Pot, man. There's, apart from my family, I think there's Bryce, who's also a partner on this too. He's basically the family too. Besides him and a couple other people, not really anybody has known this, man. This has been a passion project I've been grinding on, working on. This is a labor of love that I'm so excited to share with you guys. So I really hope, again, this wasn't too salesy. Maybe, maybe it is. And I don't really care, because I'm just excited. So Thank you for tuning in again to the podcast. And you can expect a lot of edible education coming at you in future podcasts. I'm also going to have some calls coming in. We might start doing some live ones with like the number at the bottom. I'm trying to figure it out. But my biggest thing that I can promise you is consistency again. That's what I always, my card filled up. Shit. So the card filled up. We're shooting. I'm just on the audio here. We'll throw in the intro video, but that's always what I pride myself on with True Buds TV and the True Buds show was no matter what, being consistent. Even if I had to go shoot with a lapel mic in the mountain, you should watch that podcast. It's kind of funny. I saw a mountain lion, pretty crazy. But good to be back. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm here to help you build in the industry too. Hit me up, drop me a DM, shoot me an email, truebudstv@gmail.com. masonpot@gmail.com. Whatever you're feeling, hit me up. Become an affiliate. You can start selling this thing, man. We have the best commission in the industry. You sell one of these, 15 bucks cash off the rip. Thanks again for chilling, guys. And I hope to catch you on the next episode, number 112, coming at you next Wednesday.